Thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. It is Friday. We are almost to the weekend. Brooks, you're closer than
Oh,
most of
yes,
us.
almost there. Counting down. Don't you worry.
Hey, this is in case you missed it, where we want to catch you up on some of the stories that made headlines this week or have people talking on social media that you may have missed. And Brooks, you got a big one for me.
Yeah, so one of the main stories that we know we're focusing on and giving a lot of energy to today, given the circumstances, is the King family releasing a statement regarding an executive order that President Donald Trump just signed yesterday, which declassifies the records related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, this order directs the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General to develop a plan to release those records within 45 days. Now, this order comes alongside similar orders for records related to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy and Senator Robert F. Kennedy, which was his brother. Here's what's so interesting about this, though, Maria. We understand that there has been a lot of speculations. There have been rumors. There have been conspiracy theories and whatnot in the past decades regarding all of those assassinations. But the King family releasing this, they say in part, quote, "For us, the assassination of our father is a deeply personal family loss that we have endured over the last 56 years. We hope to be provided the opportunity to review the files as a family prior to its public release." I think, Maria, sometimes it is easy to forget when we talk about political figures, or in Martin Luther King Jr.'s case, a social activist who really was not just ahead of the times, but created so much progress in the civil rights movement and whatnot, that there's still a family attached to that. And although he's been gone for, nearly 60 years, what is interesting is that his family is still dealing with that loss. We celebrate that day. Look, we just celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day just
On
Monday,
Monday,
right?
yeah.
And he's one of Atlanta's own. So that family releasing that statement, just, I believe, just asking for the government and for President Trump and everyone who's in charge and in power to give them a second just to deal with whatever is discovered once those documents are declassified, so that they can process it before it becomes public information.
And I do believe the timeline on that is 45 days
Yeah.
for a release plan to be turned over to the president. So we'll see what comes of that.
Well, another story that we were watching this morning, Maria, is TikTok. So, it's been less than a week since everybody got all up in arms about TikTok disappearing.
Right.
It was there and then it disappeared. And that was all because of a ban, within the U.S. Supreme Court, that if no one from the U.S. wanted to purchase the app, or the Chinese owners didn't decide to sell it, that was what was going to happen. It was going to be shut down. So that's what we saw. But it came back. So you can still use TikTok if you have it. But what is interesting is you can't download it right now. eBay sellers are taking advantage of that. So they've started listing phones with TikTok that's been downloaded to them on the web right now for hundreds to thousands of dollars.
And for some people, that might be worth it. I mean, you're talking about, I think the number was 7 million people use TikTok for
Yeah,
their
millions.
business.
Look, and here's the thing. If you are using TikTok for your business, Maria, and let's say you were bringing in, I mean, look, there's some people probably on the low end that were bringing hundreds in a week, but there were a lot of people that were bringing a lot of thousands in a week. If that was your primary source of income, you're a content creator, an influencer, whatever it may be, for them, they say, I might need to jump on one of those phones. But what is kind of disturbing about that, if the app is eventually banned, TikTok still won't work on those phones because it won't be able to receive those updates. So for some people, it may be worth it. For others, like myself, thanks, but no thanks.
Brooks Baptiste, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
Some other news that really dominated this entire week was the winter weather, and more so the road conditions. Roads were an issue really from Tuesday onward, starting to see those improvements as the days went on. But Georgia crews were truly stretched to their limits as the state tried to bounce back from Tuesday's storm. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Kasouras shows us how much of the state is still dealing with the aftermath of the winter weather.
I still see a little bit of ice on the palm trees.
Icicles on palm trees. Mitch Leff thought that he could escape the brunt of the winter storm in Atlanta by heading to St. Simon's. Instead, he found himself in his condo without power.
I always bring extra battery packs, and I have a crank radio that will crank up and charge extra things. And I didn't bring that this time because I thought There's no way it's going to snow on St. Simon's.
Thursday marks day 3 of a statewide winter storm cleanup. Power crews battling ice while GDOT crews manning plows and brine trucks work 12-hour shifts. Wrecks on interstates bringing traffic to a standstill.
What we're seeing mainly is people sliding on the ice, maybe sliding into the guardrails or into the ditches, and sometimes tractor trailers jackknifing in the roads and blocking the entire roadways.
Lieutenant Ed Starling with the Department of Public Safety says all of their troopers who can work are out working, assisting local departments with an influx of calls. From Tuesday night to Thursday morning, DPS reports they've received more than 3,000 calls, responded to more than 370 crashes, and helped more than 530 people. He says stay off of the roads if you can, especially in the morning, to make sure any ice has the chance to melt.
Delayed starts for businesses would be great in most areas if they could at least, wait till the sun comes up.
And the week's winter weather meant many Georgia animal shelters had to close, leaving dogs and cats alone for the night. But some volunteers showed up with their sleeping bags. Atlanta News First reporter Sawyer Bussey explains.
So we have a lot of animals to take care of, so we stayed.
These faces, these personalities are the reason why the staff at Lifeline Animal Project in Fulton County puts in the hours they do.
It's something about having the opportunity to give love to dogs that haven't potentially had that love before.
I think I've always connected with animals like so many people do, and I see how much having a pet can improve people's lives. It can really be the reason why people get out of bed and improves health.
When the cold and ice hit this week, the shelter closed to visitors, but the staff decided to stay the night.
And so it was a volunteer basis to have staff come in and stay the night. But I live a little further away, and I didn't want to miss work because of the storm. Even if it ended up not being anything, I still want to be able to make sure that I was able to come in and take care of the animals.
21 employees stayed on cots, working throughout the day to take care of animals who have nowhere to go.
Now, I don't love being closed because it means we don't get as many opportunities for adoptions or for fosters, which has really hurt us quite a bit to have so many closures recently.
This is the end goal for the group here at Lifeline, for these animals to go into homes where they are well taken care of and loved. The animals seem to be ready as well. In Atlanta, Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.
Love that story, and it is a big weekend for NFL fans. First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey takes us through how the temperatures might affect your game.
Last week, weather played a major role in the NFL playoffs. This week, not so much. The Eagles-Commanders game, 3 p.m. on Sunday. It will be chilly up there in Philadelphia. Kickoff temperatures around 37 degrees, but they're not going to see the snow that they had in Philadelphia last week. As well as Kansas City. Last week, temperatures were really cold for both the Chiefs and the Bills game. They're used to this, though. Kickoff at 6:30 on Sunday in Kansas City. Temperatures will be sitting right around 30 degrees. Honestly, that's pretty warm for both the Chiefs and the Bills for this time of year. So weather should play much less of an impact on the overall games, both in Kansas City and in Philadelphia this weekend.
And as we talk about the winter weather and the weather this weekend, we want to make sure that you are staying prepared for any changes in the weather conditions ahead. We have a First Alert weather day for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So a very important time to have the First Alert weather app downloaded and on your phone. Our team of meteorologists here at Atlanta News First are updating that hour by hour to get you the most accurate forecast so that you can plan your weekend and the week ahead. Atlanta News First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris will join us here at 11:30 for another rendition of Weather Where You Are.